So we're back again here with Kim Williams with the Office of the State Fire Marshal and Chief Kevin Gordon, who is representing the Fire Rescue Commission, but also serves as the chair of the Fire Rescue Certification Board. So we want to talk a little bit about the certification, the Fire Rescue Certification Board. Recently, last year, toward the end of the last year, there was some discussion going around about the firefighter certification program and some changes that were being made. A lot of folks might have been misled or misunderstood how that whole process works. And I wanted to get the two of you together to talk a little bit about that process and how that impacts the training and certification programs for our firefighters.
So the certification board, the Fire and Rescue Commission Certification Board is an ancillary board that reports to the State Fire and Rescue Commission. It's made up of 13 members from the various associations across the state, both from fire and rescue. And also there's representatives on the board from the community college system. And then we have one additional seat that's on the board is represented by the Office of State Fire Marshal, the Kim's position. Okay. So they're charged with, the certification board is charged with, has been delegated from the Fire and Rescue Commission to manage the volunteer standards of the certification programs across the state. So that's 30 some odd, I think it's 32 to be exact, certification subjects across 14 standards, which they rest in the NFPA professional qualification standards. That's where the root definitions come from, and that's the policies that we that we follow. All those programs are accredited through ISAC, and there's a number of those which are also duly accredited through ProBoard, and that brings some validity to the programs for best practices, and that's pretty much recognized across the industry as well.
So we understand that these standards change periodically. And whenever we go through an upgrade or a change in the firefighter standard, for example, how do we take that change and actually go through some type of review of that and implement that change? From what I understand as a recommendation, it reaches the level of being recommended from the CERT board back up to the Fire Commission. How does that happen?
So to remain accredited, which is best practices, that's what you really get from that. There's some other reasons of portability across state lines, but the mainstay in that is that they're credible and that the program is credible and it's best practices that we follow. So they rest in the NFPA document. So the NFPA document, the professional qualification standard that we're following. So like for an example, in firefighters 1001, we follow that governing document, which is that NFPA document. So that drives the program as far as what the context and the components is. And then it can be delivered in a multitude of ways across the profession. So what we do in North Carolina is that role and responsibility is delegated from the Fire and Rescue Commission to the Certification Board. And the Certification Board takes information from the professions through what is known as either a validation committee or a development committee. So if it's a validation committee, it's typically a rewrite of a program. If it's a development committee, it's a new program that we're developing. And on those committees, it's not certification board members, it's not commission members. There's one person on those committees, which is a CERT board representative that leads that charge to make sure that we get it in a timely fashion. We keep the project on time to meet the needs of implementing the program. Then the other seats that on those committees is as a facilitator from OSFM that goes and makes sure that we're in accordance with the accreditation process. And then the rest of those seats come from fire and rescue representatives across the state that are not on the commission, that are not members of the certification board. So they represent the fire departments and they represent the community colleges, all walks, all segments of the fire and rescue agencies across the state in whatever area, and they have special knowledge and abilities in the area that we're dealing with. Right.
Good deal. So if someone was interested in participating in one of these validation or peer review processes, how would they do that?
They can do it a couple ways. They can reach out to any member on the certification board through their associations or directly to those members, and they're on the website. They can contact me. They can contact, probably the best way, the most direct way would be to contact Kim at her office, and they will keep a list of those. I would caution everybody to understand that they may volunteer to be part of the driver, operator, or firefighter, and it may be a couple years because it's a cycle.
Yes, sir.
So don't be discouraged if you say, I want to be part of the driver operator program next time, and then it's 2 years before you hear from us. It doesn't matter what's today, 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years. If you're interested, contact our office and let us know you'd like to participate in that program, and we'll keep a list that we can access at the appropriate time.
Good deal. So I'm assuming, Kim, that the Fire Rescue Certification Board meets quarterly as well.
They meet quarterly.
And if someone's interested in, and what I'm picking up here now is that these people that volunteer to do the review and kind of serve as a subject expert, they're volunteering for this role. They develop the recommendations that go to the certification board, and they in turn make the recommendations that go to the Fire Rescue Commission.
That is true. They do another very integral part of that as well, as they also validate the content, and they also have an opportunity to validate the test questions and the practical skill examinations. So those are important part of the process as well.
Good deal. Well, thank you very much. This has been very helpful and enlightening to me to understand how this process works. So thanks.